Hi everyone, it's Danielle. I just wanted to basically do the update video on Henry now, my cat. Like I had said in the last video that I had posted about Sophie, I wanted to do a video about Henry. Now in that video I also explained that I was going to be wearing like the same stuff and have the same background because I recorded it on the same day. Well, that obviously has changed. I look different and I have a different background. The reason for that is I decided to re-record the video, and yes, this will be my third time re-recording this, but the reason why I decided to re-record it now is because there's been an update since I recorded it originally, and instead of just like adding a clip in here, I just figured I would just record the whole thing over because when I was doing that video, I was a little distracted and a lot was going on. So I didn't exactly, I guess, portray like what I wanted to. So this will hopefully be a little better, and I'm going to try to be quick about it. Not rush, but be quick. Henry is my cat, obviously, and here's a picture of him. He is a really good boy. He's super, super sweet. But on August 1st, we were watching TV, me and my boyfriend being we were watching actually America's Got Talent. If anyone watches that, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. I'm pretty excited about the finals. Anyways, yes, my battery is gonna die because this is my life.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I'm back. Anyways, so like I was saying, August 1st, we were watching TV and all of a sudden Henry was just like walking kind of weird and meowing just weirdly. I was just like, oh, that's really weird. Like, I hope he's okay. Like, I don't know what's going on. So he went upstairs and so I followed him and he was laying on my bed. So I went over to see him, and like the first thing that was kind of just like weird was that Finley jumped on the bed, and like usually if any of the cats are on the bed and Finley jumps up, they kind of scatter because he's just a big goof. Like, he's 70 pounds of just a goof dog. So like they obviously are like, don't step on me, you know, so they'll run. So that being said, he didn't run, he just kind of like stayed there, and I went and pet him and he was just like meowing, like he would let out a meow that was just like clearly uncomfortable. So I was like, all right. I picked him up, brought him downstairs, and I told my boyfriend we're going to the emergency vet, which the emergency vet that is the closest to me is like 45 minutes to like almost an hour away. So that was fun at like 9 o'clock at night. So we get there. I'm literally just thinking, you know, he probably has like a UTI. We're going to get some antibiotics. He's going to be okay. And like, it's just going to be not simple, but simple enough. I've been down this road many times. I actually dealt with this a lot with my cat Ichi, who has passed away, but I'll put a picture of him here for you. He passed away last year actually, and he was almost 18 years old. We adopted him when I was in high school, and yeah, he was a character. I love him and I miss him a lot, but I'm glad he lived a long life. But this video isn't about him, but he did have these issues going on just like Henry is, and we had to have surgery done, have him like completely change the way of his peeing so that his urethra or whatever was bigger and all that stuff. Well, needless to say, it's just not the first time I'm taking this journey. We'll just say that. So the vet comes in and tells me that he's blocked, and of course it's going to be this amount of money for this treatment, which basically was to keep him overnight. Well, no, just to keep him there for days, to treat him. And of course, like at an emergency vet, it's going to be a lot more money than at your regular vet. Their treatment plan would be to keep him here, sedate him, put a catheter in, like a urinary catheter, to get him to pass his pee, and then obviously a few days of this, and then hopefully when they take the catheter out it doesn't happen again, all of that. So I freak out. I'm like, oh my god, like it's that bad. Like he didn't show like any signs before that, minus the fact that like months ago he kind of showed a little symptom of like he just was acting a little weird, like he was licking himself and just he wasn't himself. So I brought him to the vet, and my vet like checked him out and he was fine, and I thought he's making me look like a fool. He wants to just visit the vet, I guess, like, you know, and I left it at that. Anyways, so needless to say, I decided to keep him there overnight and pick him up in the morning and transfer him to my regular vet, where obviously I would be able to save a little bit of money, but it was still going to be crazy. And it's not even about the money to me. Like, obviously I just felt so bad for him. We drive home, and we're almost home, mind you. Now it's like 11 o'clock, I think. and we get a call, and I was so happy to get this call because I was like freaking out about leaving him there overnight. Like it felt so weird leaving without him, and I was a mess. And like honestly, we got the call and basically said that when he got the pain medication, he relaxed enough and peed on his own. So they told me we could come get him and all of that. So we went and got him, brought him home. Obviously the next day we had to bring him to our regular vet. So we did that. We brought him to the vet. The emergency vet did tell me that we could wake up and he could be blocked. So I'm like, all right, well, clearly I'm worried about that. So I call my regular vet the next day, which was obviously August 2nd, which I believe is a Thursday. I can't remember now. But whatever, we went on August 2nd to my regular vet at 10 a.m. They felt his bladder. It was small and soft, so they weren't overly concerned. They basically just told me to feed him the prescription diet, which I already feed Boogeyman and Luigi. So they told me to put him on that forever and try to get pee, but like they didn't make it sound like it was like an urgent thing, so I wasn't really like sure. I was like not really happy about that because I just felt like not even 10 hours before I was in like this emergency, like he was in this such emergency state that like I was freaking out, and now it's just like, oh, he's fine, like just get some pee so we can test it. I got home, I put him in the bathroom, locked him in there with the litter box with like beads. He didn't like it. He didn't go. And then the next day I was freaking out. I'm like, well, maybe he didn't go because he's blocked again. So I went back to the vet. Now the backstory about that is basically that when we were on the way home from the emergency vet, he peed on like a blanket, so there was nothing I could do about it, but it got all over him too and we had to clean him, but that's a whole other thing. And then when we got like when we were on our way back from the regular vet, he also peed in there, but like he peed on a bed. So I was thinking, like, if I drive him to my vet this morning, which would be Wednesday, if I drive him to my vet like without anything underneath him, like hopefully he'll pee and then we can just collect pee then. Well, he didn't pee. So of course he didn't, right? So I ended up going in there and saying like, what can I do? Like, is there anyone here that maybe could just like feel his bladder just to make sure that he wasn't blocked? Because here I am now in that state of mind, like thinking he's blocked and freaking out. And the girl was like, well, no, we don't have anyone to do that right now. And then she was like, hold on a second. And the vet basically had told her to have us keep him there for the day. So we kept him there for the day. What ended up having to happen is they used an ultrasound and then to guide them so that they could see where they were going with a syringe, and they put it in his bladder, sucked out pee, and they tested it that way. Turns out he has a raging UTI and a bunch of crystals in his urine, so that's the problem, which I didn't think anything less. Of course, that's what I figured was going on. So they couldn't prescribe me antibiotics until we got the urine sample, which I guess like that's fine, but they were kind of guessing anyways at the antibiotics, so I don't really know. I ended up getting an antibiotic. It was a half tab. It was a pretty big tab, but a half tab once a day for 2 weeks. And then after that, we had to get more pee. Clearly, I'm struggling with getting pee. So I locked him up in the bathroom one day with no luck. And then the next day I tried again. But what we did was we locked him up at like the middle of the night. So like at 2:30 in the morning, I put him in the bathroom. And then when we woke up, we actually had a vet appointment that day for Winston just to get his shots. Luckily, we got pee and we were able to bring it with us. The pee, it looked a tiny bit better, but it was still really, really bad. And it wasn't getting better like quick enough for my vet. This time I saw a different vet. And she basically went and saw the vet that saw Henry. They decided to try a different antibiotic, which this one's 2 tabs a day for 2 weeks. We were done with that September 1st, his antibiotics. So basically through the week of the 3rd to the 7th, I had tried multiple times, lock him in the bathroom, trying to get him to pee. The problem is that like when you stress out a cat, like that doesn't help the crystals. Like that can cause a problem. Like a cat can get crystals because of being stressed out and stuff. So I was just like, really, like I'm stressing him out to the point where the last time I had tried, he threw up all of his food, like 8 piles of it. And I was just like, are you kidding me? Like I couldn't do it anymore. So on the 7th, I had to actually go into my vet anyways, just to get a booster shot for Finley. Yeah, so when I was there, I was talking to him about that. And basically on the 11th, we brought him back in, and I just dropped him off like I did that very first time so that they could collect pee. And they did end up, it was a whole day, because when he came in, when I brought him in, his bladder was small, so too small to get a sample. So they had to give him fluids to get his bladder to fill, and then they had to wait for his bladder to get big enough to basically get his pee. But anyways, yeah, so everyone fell in love with them. They kept telling me, because I kept calling and checking in just to see like how it was going, like, you know, things like that. And I was able to pick him up around 4, but like at like 3:30 when I called, they were like, oh, everyone loves him, he's just kneading and purring, like he's a sweet cat. Anyway, yeah, so basically I called at like 4, almost 4, and they were like, yeah, because they told me, they were like, oh, just call back in a half hour, we haven't gotten anything yet. So like 4, they told me they got a sample, told me I could come pick them up, and I was like, okay, I'm on my way. So I didn't know the results until I got there. And when I got there, the girl came out and was like, Lindsay, I just made up a name, but Lindsay said that if you don't want him, she'll take him. I was like dying. But she told me that his urine was good, like his sample was good, he had no more crystals, and everything's good. So I was like thankful for that. So now we are all done with that for now. This is something, unfortunately, that he's going to have to deal with for his whole life. So I'm gonna have to like really keep a close eye out on him, and just like preventative measures and things like that. So lots of fun with that. But he's gonna get a lot more wet food than my other cats. I don't feed my cats a lot of wet food. They get it as like a treat. I did start giving it to them like every other day, but now he's getting it daily. Yeah, so that'll help, because more like fluid intake is good to flush out his system and all of that. And he is on a prescription diet now, obviously forever. He doesn't really like the prescription wet food though, which is a problem. But yeah, so Henry is all set now. He's in the clear. I'm so happy. So now Sophie's taken care of, Henry's taken care of, but I just feel like sometimes I can't catch a break, and that's okay. As long as my animals are happy and stressing me out, if that's what makes them happy, I guess that's what we'll deal with. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed my little story time video about Henry, and if you want to do all that fun YouTube things, definitely feel free to like, comment, like, and subscribe. I love chatting with you guys down below, so if you have anything you want to say to me, that even if it doesn't have to do with this video in specific, definitely feel free to. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.